Good evening, guys. Today I am going to talk about some of the factors which are very important in selecting a car or an automobile. At first, what is an automobile? An automobile is a self propelled motor vehicle which is powered by an internal combustion engine. Main reason I selected this topic is because that cars are very common now and it is hard to find someone without a car rather than someone with a car. Also, there are many brands available now. Not everyone will be having an idea of the most important terms that are mentioned in the specification list or the brochure of the car, unless you are a mechanical engineer or an automobile engineer or someone related to manufacturing sector. If you are neither of those, then the best option you have is to listen to whatever the sales manager has to say. And most of the times it will be a memorized lecture. So, should I tell you what are the most important parts of a car? Well, in that case, every single part is important and it needs hours to get into those details. So, I am going to tell you what are the fundamental things you need to look into when buying a car. The first important thing is the heart of an automobile, that is an engine. Engines are classified based on the fuel they use to produce the power, and accordingly they are classified into diesel engine, petrol engine and gas engine. But in India, most of the cars are not equipped with gas engine. Inside the engine there are important sub-factors. They are as follows. Number 1, cylinder. Cylinder can be defined as a chamber or cavity inside which the fuel burns up. On top of the cylinder, a piston is fit, which is in turn connected to a crankshaft. So when the piston moves up and down in a reciprocating manner, the flywheel is turned, which in turn moves the vehicle. Engines will normally have a 3-cylinder or 4-cylinder arrangement. Now most of the cars are equipped with a 4-cylinder engine. Next point is displacement. According to physics, if you define displacement, it is the act of moving an object from one place to another place. But in engine, displacement is somewhat different. It is because inside the cylinder there are two positions. As I told you, at the top of the cylinder a piston is fit. This position, the topmost position, is called as top dead center, whereas the bottommost position is called BDC, bottom dead center. Whenever the piston is in the top dead center, then the cylinder can accumulate the maximum amount of fuel inside it. This capacity in volume is called as displacement. Normally you will be hearing that the engine capacity is 3 liter, 2 liter. So what it simply means is, when the piston is at the top dead center, then that cylinder can accumulate 2 liter or 3 liters of fuel inside that cylinder. As simple as that. The next thing is power. Power can be simply defined as the energy that is available after the fuel is burnt or combusted. It is usually measured in kilowatt, but in an automobile or a car, it is measured in terms of HP, horsepower. So you might have a question, how much is kilowatt when compared to horsepower? Well, 1 horsepower will give you equivalent of approximately 0.75 kilowatt of energy. But nowadays, the car's power is defined as HP as well as in BHP. Those two terms sound different, but most of the point is the same thing. Now I'll tell you the difference. Horsepower simply means that when 1 liter of petrol or diesel or whatever fuel is burnt in the cylinder, some amount of energy, that is in kilowatt or horsepower, is generated. This is horsepower. But since a car has both moving parts as well as stationary parts, some amount of friction is generated. It is not some amount, it is in high amount itself, because it is a car and the parts are heavy. So cylinder is stationary here and the piston is moving inside to and fro in a reciprocatory motion. So a lot of friction is generated. This will account to some losses in the total power. When this friction loss is subtracted from the horsepower, it gives you the brake horsepower. So brake horsepower can be defined as the efficient amount of power which is available at the drive shaft. The next important thing is torque. Torque can be defined as the ability of the engine to produce rotation of the shaft. It is usually measured in Newton meters. Now you might have an important question. Should I choose torque or power? The answer is simple. You should choose both, because power determines the speed at which your vehicle can go, whereas torque determines the weight the vehicle can carry at that speed. To make it easy for you, I'll give you an example. If you want to participate in a drag race, then go for horsepower, as it provides you more speed or acceleration. Whereas if you want to haul a truck or tow another car or a trailer car behind your car, then you go for torque, because it provides you more pulling capacity. In a day-to-day example or a practical example, you can consider heavy vehicles such as trucks which pull heavy loads. They will have more torque. In a simpler way, you can see a tractor which is used in construction purposes. A tractor will have higher torque because it will be pulling a huge amount of load, but it can't go at a faster pace. It is because the horsepower is less when compared to the torque. In simpler terms, a faster car will have more horsepower, whereas vehicles which are used to pull loads will have higher torques. So these are the most important or fundamental factors that you need to consider when you are buying a car, because all other factors are dependent on these factors. For example, the body shape of the car depends on the speed the engine can generate. You might be wondering, how is that? It is because the shape of the car determines the aerodynamics of the car. If the car is not at all going fast, then there is no need for you to plan for aerodynamics, because there is no need for you to split up air so that you will have no resistance. And this is one example. All other factors are dependent on these important factors. So after watching this video, I hope you will choose the best car in the market. Thanks for watching.